Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your favorite traveling clad Zionist Prince Tall. Let's take a look at this clip between Tommy Robinson.
So Muslim population in EU from 84 till today, EU total, 84, 6 million, 2004, 13 million, 2025, 25 million.
Shoo!
So they went 6 million, 13 million, 25 million today. They're doubling every 20 years. They'll be at 50 million in 2044 and then 100 million in 2064. Let's go to US. US 84, 1.2 million, 2004, 2.35 million, 2020, 24, today, 4.5 million. We're doubling every 20 years. We're at 4.5 million. Let's go to Canada. Canada, 150,000. Then they went to 600,000. Then they went to 1.8 million. They're 3xing every 20 years. So Canada's competing as well. But why are so many people afraid of them? I keep asking this question. The UK is a very proud country, at one point financial capital of the world. Everything flowed through you. You got.
By the way, before he continues, just imagine if you are shocked still at the rise in anti-Semitism and Jew hatred and anti-Israel bias in the West. It's not because you guys woke up and started becoming more anti-Israel. It's not because you had an epiphany. It's because Muslim population in the West is growing every year by double. That's the only reason. They have infiltrated your societies and they're propagating their anti-Israel biases towards you, and you're buying into it. Just saying.
We're known as the power, the empire. Why are they so afraid of this community that's completely destroying their identity?
It's a mixture of things. It's a mixture of fear, but it also illustrates the power of political correctness. The power, and this is what Americans really need to get ready for. Because I see a lot of frustration coming out of America to do with immigration over the years for Hispanic immigration. And I'm sitting thinking, you've got no idea. Your borders have just been opened by Biden. It's changed. You had Mexican immigration for so many years. I wish we had Mexican immigration. Yeah? When the Polish come to the UK and people are moaning, I think, what are you moaning about? Well, because I'm from Luton. Yeah? But they're hardworking. They're Catholic. They're family orientated. There'll be some teething problems like there were because my mum come from Ireland, but they will be proud in the end of their country and they will assimilate and integrate. But you have just allowed open border mass immigration to 8 million, 10 million, however many have come through your borders. And the numbers is the biggest problem. And you've now had Syrians, Somalians, Pakistanis, Afghanis, and all you have to do is just basics. Just look at the way they think in those countries, and don't take Tommy Robinson's opinion. Look at Pew Research, any of the top research things. 99% of Afghanis want Sharia law. Their views on homosexuality, their views on free speech, their views on all the things are alien to ours. And the problem is, once they come in and come such a powerful vote bank, like the numbers you just went through, I looked at numbers from Manchester. So in Manchester, we had the terrorist attack at the Ariana Grande concert. When I looked at those numbers, they had 25,000 Muslims. 10 years later, 50,000. 10 years later, 100,000. So you said they're doubling every 20 years, right? In Manchester, every 10 years. Yeah. Now, 100,000, if that becomes 200,000, and 10 years later it becomes 400,000, there's only 500,000 people live in that city. Now, 50% of the British public don't vote. 50% do not vote. They're disillusioned, that's us, the working class, we're fed up. Most people say they're not rich enough or poor enough for it to make a difference. But the Islamic community, and I can only talk from experience of Luton again, yeah? At the time, when I last looked at it, 2011, we had 19 mosques at that time. Now, the leader, the mosques have one leader. They come together as the Council of Mosques. That leader sits down with the Labour Party, your Democrat Party. They sit down and they do a deal for the vote. And they do agreements and they give them concessions and they agree things. And then from that one meeting, they get 40,000 votes. Now, when we were challenging, when we had Luton, we were challenging the council, we were challenging everything that's happening. And my leader of my council, her name was Hazel Simmons, she just looked at us when I went to meet and she said, there's not enough for you. Sit back. Well, we don't care. There's not enough for you. And that vote bank becomes so powerful. And the appeasement and the numbers as we talk about how big is the problem. If you look now, you've seen this whole thing blow up recently, first week of January, which was about the rape gang scandal. Yeah, I've done a 5-part series. As I said, we formed this organisation in Luton, the English Defence League. We challenged this extremist terrorist group. We followed them. That was our tactics, was to follow them, confront them, highlight them. When I started doing that, I visited towns and cities across the UK, and I had families crying. I mean, like some of the experiences I've had to meet one father in Blackpool. They took his daughter. I mean, literally, people's daughters are being taken across the country. And the police, this may sound so insane to an American audience. The police are allowing it, facilitating it, accommodating it. The government know, the police know, religious leaders know. There's a conspiracy
How is that possible, though? Because when you say that to the average person, they say, okay, what is the incentive?
Yep.
Is it a money play? Is it blackmail? No. Is there do they need to vote? It's not like they're voting. Are they good for the economy? A Pew Research 2021 report says that 41% of Muslims ages 16 to 64 are economically inactive.
Oh my
compared
God.
to 24.7% of overall population.
What the hell?
Inactive. They don't work. They don't contribute to society. They're out.
I did not know. Honestly, I didn't know that statistic was that damning. That's kind of. I hope that that's not true. I don't know. That'd be very sad.
59% of. So, but there has to be something where one says that's why they allow them to do whatever they want to do and they can get away with everything. What is the motivation? How are they winning?
Well, we can only go off what the research is. So when I first come out in 2009 with the English Defence League, I sat on a show called Jeremy Paxman, which was Jeremy Paxman was the most fierce presenter for Newsnight, the biggest political debate show. And I remember when I went on there, and everyone was excited who are the English Defence League oppositions, because they said he's going to crucify me, he's going to finish me, because they viewed me as uneducated because of the way I speak and the way I talk. And my background, America don't understand the class system that goes on in the UK. The working class was supposed to just shut up, basically, yeah? And we're not allowed to have an opinion. And I remember going on there with Jeremy Paxman, and I sat there, and I tried to explain to him that our daughters are being picked up outside schools by large groups of Pakistani men, kidnapped. And none of these videos have aged well for them. And he sat there and said, you expect us to believe, like many people might be thinking now, you expect us to believe that this is being allowed to happen. So let's fast forward to 2015. For 5 years, I've gone around the country. I was on about the father in Blackpool. I can give you hundreds of these examples. The father in Blackpool, they take his daughter. When they take his daughter, the father and the son, Muslim father and son, they're both raping her. They ring him. So the father is getting a phone call. It's his daughter being raped. He has to listen to his daughter being raped. He rang me this is 2010 I first met him. I think it was about 2015. I'll get emotional thinking about it. I think it was about 2015, he rang me up. She's back. She's back, Tommy, I've got her back. 2 kids later. So this is going on across our whole country, yeah? And when that's going on, we're fear-mongering. Remember, we come under immense attack. And Rotherham, you've heard of Rotherham? So Rotherham is the scapegoat city for these gangs. It's where they allowed the story to come out. And it didn't come out to 2014-15. I was sat in prison. And breaking news, what happened is a journalist called Andrew Norfolk, and the reasons he gave was he had known for years, this is his words, not mine, he had known for years that these gangs were operating, but he was too scared because they were all Pakistani men and all the victims were young English girls. And he says it was the far right dream. So why are you even thinking about politics or anything, yeah? He said it was the far right dream. So he was too scared to report on it, then saw the emergence of the English Defence League. Now, we were very vocal. We become a household name, not just in the UK, but across the globe within 12 to 24 months. And what that organisation was young, determined English men who weren't going to back down. And we travelled the country. And remember, I knew it was never going to be female nurses or doctors that stood up against these gangs on the streets. Because when you stand up against them, violence, threats, intimidation, police raids. So the organisation forms. Across the country, there's been a conspiracy of silence in every town and city. So many high-ranking people now have dirty hands who have hid this crime. We're on the streets. We made it impossible. 5,000 men charging through the streets with signs that our daughters are not halal meat. If you listen to the videos, I give a presentation in Russia. I had to go to Russia because my free speech was taken in the UK. I gave a presentation called The Rape of Britain where I went back and I showed English Defence League forms here. If you want to see a graph of the arrests for these Islamic rape gangs, the graph just goes straight like this. English Defence League forms in 2009, 2010, 2011, boom, through the roof. They could no longer hide it because the world's media were coming to our demonstrations. Our speeches about they're raping our daughters, they're taking our kids. Then Muslim pedos off our streets you've got five, whereas people had been whispering about Islam, it's too scared to talk about it. Overnight, you had 5,000, 10,000 men screaming about it. And it was a catalyst across the country. And I then realised what I've seen in Luton, Luton's just a blueprint for every town and city. And I realised, geez, this is coordinated. It's happening across the whole country. I'm sitting down with families and they're crying their eyes out. His daughter's been missing for 3-4 days. And they're going to the police and not getting any help. And all this was unbelievable. And fast forward to 2014, 2015, this big study come in the city of Rotherham. Rotherham has a 3.7% Muslim population. 1,400 children they found that had been raped. There'd been murders. But in that city, the investigation found the police knew it was happening. They were too scared to tackle it through fear of being branded racist. So say that out loud. This is where you need to understand, as the United States of America, that the Democrats, because remember, many of these Islamic immigration will end up in Democrat cities. They will then become that powerful as a vote bank. And that's what happened in many cities across the UK. That the political party care more about the votes and power than they do about, they'll sacrifice the kids. And that sounds insane.
Sacrifice
but
the
when
country.
you look at the numbers, so Rotherham, 3.7% Muslim population, 1,400 children had been raped in that town. When that come out, and the study come out, some of the examples, Patrick, two dads get together. Their 13-year-old daughters are in a house, 10 Pakistani Muslim men raping them. The dads turn up at the house to get the kids back. And remember, this is not me. Read the report. This is not me saying it. The two dads go to get their daughters back. The police turn up and arrest the dads. They leave the girls in there. Another example, an 11-year-old girl's in a derelict house, an abandoned house. 5 Muslim men are sexually assaulting and raping her. The police turn up, they arrest the little girl for being drunk and disorderly.
I saw that one.
They literally allowed this to happen.
How though?
How? But
How are they so scared when things like when you start doing this to kids? Who is not at the top? A prime minister, the royal family, the most powerful people. Who is not sitting there saying we can't tolerate this?
No, not just can't tolerate it. They celebrated everyone who covered it up. Not just, and that goes to the rule. So when all this blew up, 2015, people are realizing, oh my God, everything we were saying was right.
It's you need to understand also, and this is not to justify in any way, so don't take me out of context. It's not to justify the police who are too afraid to do something. You have to understand something. They know that if they stand up against this shit, there are repercussions to standing up for yourself in your own country nowadays. There are repercussions to that, people. They will hurt you. They will hunt you down. That's the whole point of the issue. You've created a network of dangerous, violent people with a backwards ideology in your country. And they will retaliate against you if you enforce your law. It's far gone. You've made a giant mistake. The whole system needs to be overhauled. And I don't know if you have it in you to do it, is the problem. But listen to what Tommy Robinson is saying, especially if you're in America, which I know many of you are. Listen to what he's saying. Heed his warning. Read the comments of this video. Watch how many English people, how many British people are going to be in the comments saying he was right about everything. I've been watching him for years. He was right about it all. And now it's too late. It probably is too late for the UK. America, you must not make the same mistake. And I say this out of love. You must not make the same mistake. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you a long time. Goodbye, Clads. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.